the end of the business meeting, we can pick it up. All right. All right, welcome to, okay, we have a little questionnaire before we start, and then you can is that the, Steve, is that the end of the polling, or are we just starting it?
I just started it.
Okay. All right, so during the meeting, you can visit the poll, and then we'll, at the end of the business portion, we'll review the poll.
How do you visit the poll?
When you click on the bottom of the black screen there, there's a sign that comes up polls.
That's only because you're a host, you see that.
Mine came up in the middle of the slide on the flag.
Yeah, it should have come up.
I have the old, I haven't updated my Zoom, but that's where it came up.
It should have popped up.
It did, right in the middle of the screen.
So the only way to get rid of it is to say submit.
No, you can minimize it, I think. I see the
There was
actual,
an option to.
then you just take it and submit it.
Okay.
And if you're a host, you can't do anything. All you can do is end the poll. So we'll end it at the end of the meeting. And Steve, maybe during the meeting at some point, you might want to say that there's a active poll and pull it up. Okay. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation,
under God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh yeah, we'll take again our moment of reflection, as in the past, for getting us through this pandemic safely and getting life back to some degree of normalcy in the near future. Thank you. Okay. I don't know if this is good or bad, but today is it's a year since our last in-person meeting last March, and we started going into the Zoom meetings shortly after that. It's good because we're continuing our club and our organization, and I think I look forward to the meetings. I'm sure other people do also, and it's a way of keeping in touch with each other. And with the way things look, possible we might be getting back to live meetings, or some kind of, as schools call it, hybrid situation. So let's keep our fingers crossed for that. We do have a board meeting coming up in March at the end of the month, and I called it at the end of the month only to see, maybe in the next 15 days we'll get more direction on which way we're going. As you can see, that most of it is looking into the crystal ball for in-person meetings. I mean, that's dependent upon the Fish Church allowing congregations or organizations in the hall, and to what extent the restrictions are going to be that they place on us, even though the state says that you can do certain things. It's up to the individual places to determine how they want to handle it. Planning for in-person activities, already there's a plan out for a little impromptu golf get-together in April. So I'm glad to see that we're taking the initiative there to have some live contact. Hand in hand goes with the songsters, getting that group back together and practicing for potential gigs at the nursing homes. So those are all things that have to be discussed and how we want to look into it. And again, it's crystal ball gazing for that. Picnic plans are going ahead as we talk, as we speak now, and they're well in advance, in advanced state. Again, the status of speaker schedule, that is Stu's responsibility. The question is whether some of the speakers want to do it in person or they're going to do it on Zoom, and how we would make accommodations for that, or set up for that. And then obviously our budget forecasts, whether we start meeting in May, very optimistic, September, more realistic. And we still have to actively recruit new members. So board will decide, what we want to, resources we want to put to that, and how we're going to handle that. And if anybody does, any member has any suggestions or things that they might want to have be brought up by the board, members of the board, please don't hesitate to contact me or any other board members with your suggestions or requests. We'll definitely look into that. If you've read, if you haven't, this may apply. Bedbound, homebound, bedbound individuals can now schedule their COVID vaccinations through the city's Department of Health. And they will have people coming to the homes. There are certain criteria, obviously, of what is bedbound. But I think anybody that's been recovering from serious surgeries or whatever certainly would fall under this, or people that have chronic issues. So give you a chance to read it, but again, you can go back on YouTube or in the SMAS website, and you can get this information if it applies. So I think it's something that just started, I think, a week ago or so. Okay, today's speaker is our Stanford Police Department Chief, Tim Shaw, and he will be starting at 10:45. So I hope everybody stays on. It should be interesting. We've certainly had an interesting year with police activity, or some of the demonstrations that were here, and Tim came in and through that. So save your questions or think of your good questions. And we really don't want to put him on the spot as to, embarrassment or anything. And I think I'm going to make a edict at this point. I know during our normal meetings when we are live, the only people that really can get up to the podium to ask questions are the members. So I think we're going to, if we have any people that come on that are not members or guests, that haven't identified themselves as guests, I don't think we're going to let them come on to potentially sandbag the meeting. If anybody, at this point, does anybody disagree with that? Okay, so, okay, we'll go along with that. Bill Munko, you got your hand raised.
Quick question on the topic before. If we have our in-person meetings, are we planning to continue the Zoom format?
That's what we're gonna be discussing.
Okay, that was it. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, as I said, we'll probably end up with some form of hybrid, who knows? Okay, next slide, please. All right, Stuart.
All right, good morning, everybody. Good to see everyone here. We have to talk about the speakers because right now we have a few speakers towards the end of the period that are not in the Stanford area. Okay, so it's going to be difficult to have them live should we go to live meetings. We need to figure that out. As you can see, we have a full schedule for the next 4 weeks. We actually have a full schedule of speakers through the end of June, except for May 27th. I have a hole in that. I'm trying to fill that one with another speaker. But we're all set for the remainder of, I guess you call it this season. And we started to fill in some spots for September and October. I've got a couple of speakers arranged for them as well. So coming up next week is Professor Noam Zatorsky. They're doing a lot of research in cancer over in Israel at the Technion. It's a well-known institution in Israel, very high. It's like our MIT here, I guess you'd say, or Yale, something like that. That should be a very interesting talk. I think it's going to concentrate on kidney cancer, but I'm not 100% sure. After about 2.5 years, we asked Julie Jason to come back. Julie is the owner of her firm. She's going to talk about optimizing the impact of gifts to children and grandchildren. I'm sure everyone knows Julie has a weekly column in The Advocate. I don't know if you read that, but it's usually very interesting to educate yourself on what's of current interest to people in the world of finance. Then again, also after a few years away, I asked Jim Cameron to come back, talking to him. He's got a whole new pitch on what he thinks is going to happen after the whole pandemic is over. So he's always an interesting speaker. It's good to hear and listen to. He's kind of funny. But it'll be interesting to see what he thinks is going to happen with Metro North, Amtrak, places like that. And then last in this series, Judge Dominic Calabrese, the impact of conservatorship and the probate court. Again, an interesting topic for a number of us here. So hope you enjoy these presentations. If you have any suggestions for presentations, please let me know. Also, if you yourself do something interesting or have done something interesting and you want to share that with the group, it'd be great to have a presentation by our members. I know I have one member, I won't mention his name, but he would love to do a presentation, just that he needs to do it in a live format. So we'll set that one up as soon as we go live. So thank you very much and talk to you later.
So we do have that one presentation about the stone walls of Connecticut that was recommended by a couple of the different groups.
Okay.
Reese is her name, R-E-I-S, I believe. And she indicated that she would do a live presentation. She wouldn't do a Zoom presentation. So
okay. You can give me more information on that, Joe?
You have that information.
Okay. All right.
It's, you know, going back for over a year now.
Oh,
there's emails on it and everything.
Look at old emails. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah. Okay, Larry Holtzman, second vice president.
No, first Ira with the minutes.
Oh, Ira, I missed Ira. Ah, I'm sorry.
How could you miss Ira?
Eliminate me.
He's standing right there.
Yeah, and I'm using my iPad to go jump ahead on the slides.
Or we can do the minutes right now very quickly.
Please, Ira, go ahead.
All right. Are there any objections or additions to the minutes? If not, As you can see, last week we had an online attendance of 45. And since there are no corrections or additions, I'm going to, as usual, if there are no objections to that, ask Joe Andriana, our president, to cast one vote of approval for the entire group.
So voted. Aye. Thanks,
Thank you.
Ira. Okay, now Larry.
Okay, future 920 discussion groups. Next week, Bob Butke will talk on technology. First of all, I want to thank Joe D for talking about investments this morning. On the 25th, we have Emily Boothroyd, who is an associate of Lori Price. She will be talking to us on money matters. April 1st, Joe D comes back to talk about current events and follows up with an encore presentation on April 8th on investing. We have sent out an email that if anybody, we'd like to expand the topics of discussion groups so that if anybody has a subject of interest, they should let us know. And if they are willing to do the lead on the discussion, we'd be more than happy to have them do it. If not, Art Feldman, with consultation with the party who has expressed interest in the subject, has agreed to lead it. He would do the research necessary to have knowledge of the subject matter. So please feel free to contact myself and Art as to the subject matter and whether you would be willing to lead the discussion. I think there's been an email blast from Steve on that subject. So hopefully somebody will step up and we could have more topics to have discussion groups. Next slide, please. Yesterday, we had a lovely walk in Waveney Park. And you can see all the participants here very nicely. We had a number of spouses or significant others, and it was good to see some new people joining. So everybody here is identified. And it was a lovely, lovely day. And we welcome more participants. Next week, there'll be a slide which will inform you as to location. Generally, we've been doing it at Waveney Park in New Canaan, Irwin Park in New Canaan, and the Cove in Stamford. So come out, join us. It's great to have in-person contact and fresh air and get some exercise. So look forward to more of you coming. Next slide, please. Stu, you want to speak about the picnic, and then I'll interject with another couple of discussions about other activities.
Sure. Thanks, Larry. Yes, the good news, we're all set now for a picnic. I've been telling you we have a caterer ready to go, the same guy we've been using. Mayor Martin has committed to attend, but the very recent news as of yesterday afternoon is our permit has been approved by the board of something, whoever approves them. But I got a call that they approved our permit, so we're all set. Parking will be a little will be a little different this year in terms of parking passes, but shouldn't be a problem at all. The guy who used to approve all these things has now got a different job, so the procedures have changed a little bit. Shouldn't be a problem. So looking forward to it. And for those of you who are on that are part of the picnic committee, I'll be arranging for a Zoom meeting relatively soon. So thank you very much.
With that, was the permit fee waived?
Yes. Yes, it was. No fee.
All right, because I want to just, you brought something up with that, what we have been doing, and maybe we'll try and see for the fall. The spring is too soon. To do a day of service with the Parks Department, as we've done in the past and weren't able to do last year. So let's, consider that as a potential, and that's a little bit of quid pro quo.
It's a definite pro quo. She mentioned that specifically, the fact that we do a service for the city. That's exactly why we get our fees waived. So
Yeah.
good point, Joe.
Okay, before we go to the next slide, I wanted to talk about some activities that we've been talking about. We are now scheduling an informal golf get-together. It's not going to be a tournament, on Monday, April the 5th. And it's going to be either 4 or 5 consecutive start times or a shotgun. We have to negotiate that with Paul Grillo, the superintendent of Sterling Farms. We're trying to limit the participation to 20 people. I've already had 11 people indicate that they are in. So there's still a bunch of openings. If we get a real big response, we can actually do it to 24, but no more than that. We'll let you know. An email blast has been gone. Brian has sent out to those that are participating in golf previously. But if you did not receive it and wish to participate, contact Brian, Howie Breslow, and myself. Email the 3 of us. You can send it to Brian with CCs to myself and Howie Breslow, and we'll have a slide next week for it. But feel free to say you wanted to do it, and then we will send out the particulars. It's my understanding that there will be plastic shields between the driver and the passenger in the carts. I think we will be limiting the participation to people who have been vaccinated. So the other thing is I encourage everybody to get their permits so you can pay the reduced rate prior to that play on April 5th. So that's it for now on that. One other activity that has been mentioned, Carl Shapiro has mentioned that one thing that we could do together outdoors as a group, similar to the walk, is Tai Chi. Obviously, it's a very good and healthy activity. We're looking for somebody who might know a Tai Chi instructor, who might be willing to lead a group at a place of choosing where we could spread out. And so if anybody knows someone who could lead us at either who would do it as a volunteer or at a very, very modest fee per person, please contact Carl Shapiro or myself and give us the contact information so we could follow up with that person.
Hey, Larry.
Yes.
You might contact Chris Crane at the Senior Center. I think they use somebody there.
Okay. Can you give Carl the information? Because he's going to follow up on that activity.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, the Senior Center does hold Tai Chi classes.
Yeah.
Oh,
977-5151. That's the number there.
you got that, Carl? Okay.
Could you repeat that?
203-977-5151. 51. That's the senior center number.
Thanks a lot.
And Chris Crane is the lady. She's terrific.
Great.
Thanks, Carl. And that's it for activities as of now. So take care and look forward to seeing some of you at the golf course on April 5th. See some of you on the walk next week, wherever that's going to be. Carl will let us know. And that's it for activities.
Okay, before we go into membership, Carl, I just want to remind everybody that there is a poll going on about the status of your COVID vaccination. I see 47 people have responded out of the 54 that are online. So go into that poll, and at the end of our business section of the meeting, we'll give the results. Go ahead, Carl. You're muted, Carl.
Good morning. The good news is we have a new member, Rich Agostine, who was referred by Carl Shapiro. Rich is on the Zoom meeting. Rich, why don't you unmute yourself and say something just so we can and wave hello. We can't do it in person, but we can do it virtually.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Well, I'm pleased to join. I'm looking forward to the resuming in person so that I can meet most of you that I don't know. And I'm anxious to get started.
Well, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to our organization, Rich.
Thank you.
And Steve Duran finally sent in his dues. So he's gone from inactive to active, which increases our regular membership up by 2 for the week to 210. Are there any additional guests or visitors with us today? Okay, if not, there goes my background phone again. Hang on a second. Stopped. Okay, my no more robo stopped it. I would like to say, as Steve, as I noticed and other people pointed out, the information on next week's Walk in the Park is not up to date in the slide deck. So Steve, I'll send you an update, and also to Ira, changing that. It'll be in next week on the 17th. The walk will be at the Cove Island Park. Thank you, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, Carl. And David, glad to see you're on with us today.
Thank you very much, Joe.
How you feeling?
Pretty good, Joe. And thanks for that introduction. Well, for those of you who haven't heard, I seem to be alternating my weekly good news and bad news. Last week was good news with my son's book publication. This Saturday, I passed out, crashed and burned in the shower and dislocated both hips. Spent the weekend in the hospital, but the good news is I'm fine. A couple of weeks of physical therapy, and I should be joining the weekly walk. So let's hear it. What other good news do members have? Birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, awards? Anybody?
Wait a minute.
Okay, now, again, this is a regular meeting, so if you want to speak, please raise your hand, the blue hand, to be recognized.
Yep, there's one. Art?
Unmute yourself.
So good news is that after receiving 2 shots of vaccine, finally our daughter allow us to visit her in Portland, Oregon, which we plan to do in April. So that's good news for my family.
Well, thank you very much. Bill?
Unmute, Bill.
Yeah, my granddaughter's finished her classes. She's coming home this weekend from medical school, and she'll be doing the summer in Norwalk Hospital and Danbury Hospital. So that's going to be really neat. We'll get to see her a lot more.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that, Bill. We feel like we've followed every step of her experience in medical school. Really appreciate that. Anybody else? Okay, next slide, Carl, please. So I spoke with John Sedlak last night. He's having another infusion this morning at Bennett, so he won't be joining us today. He also passed on some more troubling news. He just found out that he needs a heart valve replacement that will likely be scheduled in the next several weeks. The problem is scheduling it around his infusions. He's in good spirits, but please
John is on.
contact John.
John is on with us.
John, are you on?
I just got back on because that was rescheduled for earlier hour for my infusion this morning, so I was done quicker, and I'm happy to get into the meeting here. As you were just mentioning, I've got another simultaneous medical problem, which is going to have to be solved with a TAVR, or the arterial heart valve replacement. So that still has not yet been scheduled, but it'll be in another few weeks.
Yeah. Well, just know, John, that we're keeping you in our thoughts and prayers, and we'll be tracking you every step of the way. So,
Thank you so much.
best wishes for that procedure. And I presume that'll be done here in Stamford at the hospital?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. It's been very nice hearing and getting phone calls from people as a result of these announcements. It helps a lot.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly be keeping it up, John.
Thank you.
Best wishes. I also spoke to Louis Kay. He's moved to 700 Summer Street, 9th floor. Doesn't get outside very much and would benefit from your calls as well. Even if you don't know him, he is very open to hearing from his fellow SMAS members. Jack Austin, I spoke to him the other day, is finishing his current round of chemo this week and asked me to send his regards to all as well. He also said he appreciated very much being contacted by a number of you. So next slide, please. And again, if you know of anyone else that would benefit from our contact, please do let me know. And that's all for me.
Hey, Dick Harper with Book Club. Thank you, Dave.
Okay, as we've had posted for a while now, the next book, American Axis, is about Henry Ford and Charles Lindbergh. Kind of dispiriting story about the two of them. But anyhow, it was American history in the 20s and 30s. And I'm going to be reposting the potential books sometime very soon. So if there's any additions somebody would like to suggest, please send them to my email, which is on the screen there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dick. Okay. Steve, you want to pull up the poll and give the results? Okay. Steve is muted.
I'm talking to myself. That's all right.
You got an intelligent
Hey,
conversation.
No, unfortunately, it wasn't. Now, we've got 87% of our membership online that said that they had gotten both shots. 4 people or 8% have only received the one, so I assume they're scheduled for the second.
Since I couldn't vote, add mine to both shots.
Okay.
Thank
And
you. Very well. Thank you.
And we have 3 people that said they haven't gotten their shot yet for some reason. I can only say, hey, go out and get it. It's I guess the ages are now 55 and up, and actually my daughter got her shot, and she's not in that age bracket. She went on a waiting list and got called, said they had some vaccine left over and they didn't want it to go to waste. If she could get there within a half an hour, and she did, she got her shot. So you can get your shots, even if you are not in the age bracket, which I assume most of our members are. But I can only encourage everyone, the 3 that haven't gotten is to go out and get it.
Do they schedule the second shot?
They usually schedule it when you get your first shot.
So your daughter was scheduled, got her first
Yep.
shot, and then she got scheduled for the second shot.
She's scheduled for the second shot.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Steve, it's Ira. How many people responded?
We had a total of 52 people voted.
And then counting me is 53, and
Myself is 54.
so that's the 54 people online.
Everybody voted. That's good.
Yeah.
So it was
So it's really
4
40.
that got 4 that got 1 shot, 3 none at all, and everybody else got 2 shots, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just so everybody will know, I just sent out a new SMAS reminder to turn your clocks back Saturday night.
Oh,
Forward,
Daylight
forward,
saving- or,
forward,
yeah,
forward.
Spring forward. Yep.
Yeah, Steve, you might want to, based on these results, we got 54 people online. There's probably another 40 that are not online but are active. That going forward with our plans, at this point anyway, and I think, everybody that has seen it indicates that if you, any of the plans that we're proposing are going to want to have people that have had both have had their vaccinations. We are in that vulnerable group, so, we don't want to take a chance. There's still, the jury is still out on the effectiveness of the vaccines, and we want to, protect ourselves as best as possible. So make mention that, in future plans, going to consider having, people that have had their vaccines.
I don't know.
Okay.
Joe?
Bill Monco, you got your hand up.
I do. There's only one person had 1 shot so far on that survey. One person, that must have been me.
No, there's 4 with 1
Oh,
shot.
okay. Anyway, I'm actually going tomorrow for my second shot, but I just,
Yeah.
long time waiting.
Okay.
We're assuming everybody has gotten 1 shot, unless it's the J&J is scheduled for their second shot.
Yeah. Stu.
Yeah, I'm one of the 3 who did not get a shot, and the reason is I had an infusion right after I had been diagnosed as positive, and when you get the infusion, they make you wait 90 days before you can get a shot. The good news is yesterday I spoke to Stanford Health, and I'm on the waiting list for after April 15th. So that's the good news. But in the meantime, I'm considered to be immune. So that's my story.
Okay, great. Yeah, and if you've had any kind of vaccination, just a normal vaccination, it's a 14-day waiting period. Okay. I don't, Chief hasn't shown up yet, has he, Steve?
I haven't seen them.
Yeah, neither did I. I'm looking.
Should I call 911?
So,
Problem, they'll show up at your house, though. That's the problem.
okay. While we're waiting, Steve again. You have that great medical breakthrough short film that you can pop up?
Oh, hold on. Let me see. I'd have to find it. I'm waiting here.
Okay, meanwhile, Alan, Sosnowitz.
Call from Westport City.
Good morning.
Westport City.
Somebody's phone is ringing. One of my stories today involves that the English language is very difficult and no dictionary has been adequately able to explain this particular one. And so they held a contest at a university. And the final question was, how do you explain the difference between complete and finished in a way that is easy to understand? Some people said there is no difference between complete and finished. The winning answer was, when you marry the right woman, you are complete. When you marry the wrong woman, you are finished. And when the right one catches you with the wrong one, you are completely finished.
That's a good one. Steve?
Yeah, I'm bringing it up here a second.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Wait, I gotta stop it. Okay. Come on. Okay, let me get back to where we were. And all right, I will try to share my screen here.
Looks like Chief Shaw is on.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we skip it?
It takes a second, so just run it through.
Okay, gotta find it here. Share a screen. You know what? It's not showing up for some reason.
Okay.
Nah, let's skip it. I can save it.
Okay. You want to make Tim our co-host?